Hello and greetings, fellow StarCrafters. PGL Milncraft here with game number 1 between TSL Polt, the blue Terran player up here in the upper left corner, which, by the way, I believe this is actually Polt Prime. I believe that yes, he is in fact on Prime and not on TSL. And his opponent is going to be a mouz Thorzain, the red Terran up here in the upper right corner. This map is going to be Shakuras Plateau, a very exciting map that's been around for a very long time, one of the first, I would say, fairly successful maps that Blizzard designed, which I'm not faulting them by any means. It's just that when a game is new, it becomes very difficult to kind of exactly develop very balanced maps and stuff. But they did that with like Metalopolis and Shakuras Plateau, so they got it done. They did a pretty good job overall in terms of getting a good spread of maps right away. And then now I'm glad that they're kind of transitioning towards tournament maps. But this is from the MSI Cup, which I'm not sure if you have watched the last series or if I mentioned this in the last series. But the MSI Cup is a monthly tournament held by Millennium, and it is professional players. I believe that there are maybe a couple qualifiers for it, but it's primarily an invite-only tournament, so it's actually for people who are intended to... they're just invited, obviously. We'll talk about the players a little bit. Thorzain, you should probably know. If not, I've cast a lot of games of him. And then Polt Prime, who is an extremely good player. He's extremely well known, especially for his micro. He's very much a micro level player, and especially in Terran versus Terran, some of his marine splits are just unbelievably godly in terms of like when he's attacking siege tanks, the way that he spreads his marines out in groups of 2 and 3 so that they don't, to minimize siege tank damage when he's trying to attack the other opponent's siege tanks is just absolutely incredible. And as such, he can actually rely on that very well, actually. Alright, so we can see actually that TSL Polt did in fact go for the gas first, so he opted to get, obviously, his gas before his barracks, which is what gas first means. Thorzain, on the other hand, is not going for a gas thirst, so we can expect some sort of harassment coming from TSL Polt this game, and not exactly sure what kind of harassment we're going to end up seeing here. It looks like a factory is going down, and actually because of the positioning of this factory, it could be a Blue Flame Hellion drop, but my money is that it's actually going to just be a Banshee, Banshees. And he's getting a second gas actually, so that means this is not going to be some sort of minor harassment with the Banshee. It is going to be along with an expansion. Second gas means that he's going to be getting cloaked most likely. If he ends up going the Banshee route, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Thorzain, meanwhile, has just laid down his factory. You can see how much delayed it is as a result of not only the fact that he got the gas later, but actually he was using his minerals for other things as well. Finishing the supply depot wall, getting some marines out to make sure he had adequate defense, and that sort of thing. So we're not sure exactly what kind of build we're going to see coming out of Thorzain quite yet. He only has one gas, which means that most likely he will not be rushing to siege tanks. Could be getting a Hellion out of that factory. Also could be getting a starport potentially for like a Viking defense. And it looks like actually he's just going to expand. Yep, so he's going to be expanding off of this gas. A lot of Terran players like to avoid, if their name is not Marine King Prime, they like to avoid going for a gasless fast expand just because it can be pretty difficult to hold off any sort of harassment from your opponent or something like that. Looks like 3 Marines are going to go over here. It's to watch for a Reaper actually, and look, Polt has done the exact same thing with his 3 Marines, as Reapers are most likely to come from that area. Now, I do not believe that Thorzain is actually scouted his opponent. No, he is not scouted his opponent, so he actually doesn't know where his opponent is. He does know that, of course, because of the map, if you look at the mini-map, he has to be in either the top left or bottom left corner, and he can't be down here in the bottom right corner. Looks like that SCV is going to bounce off. He's going to see the reactor on the barracks. Interesting choice to get a reactor. Typically, you only want to get a reactor if you're going for like reactor Hellions, or maybe you want to mass produce Vikings or something, or sometimes like a 1-1-1. But a lot of players do get it just to increase their marine count. It looks like here it's going to be helping against Banshee harass, or just get early game forces in case your opponent tries to pressure. So that's probably part of the advantage there for that. We see Banshee and Cloak now on the way for TSL Polt. Cloak is about halfway. First Banshee is almost out as well. Banshees 2 take almost twice as long to produce than Cloak. I think Cloak is 110 and Banshees are 60 seconds each. Looks like a reactor coming down on the factory. I'm not sure. I would doubt actually that he is actually going to, not to say actually one too many times, but I would actually say that actually in this case he is going to go ahead and switch those, which is exactly what I was talking about, because it's pretty rare that you're going to go for reactor Hellions that late. Reactor Hellions sometimes happen in Terran versus Terran, but they're relatively rare. It looks like the Banshee is going to come in now and start firing at the SCVs. We can see exactly how good at microing Polt is. Marines are coming up to respond to that. And a Raven is now started. That's going to be very useful against the Cloak there. So the Banshee does have 6 kills already, which is pretty good. And they are now firing at that. Thorzain does not quite have his scan. And looks like his Banshee is going in as well. It's going to go ahead and fly through. And it looks like it's going to be turned away. Nice control is going to keep it away from those Marines. And Thorzain, GG's, what? Oh my god. And okay then. Alright, well I guess Thorzain decided that he didn't want to play this game. Wow, that was a really quick GG. I did not expect that at all. Whoa. It was a cloaked, I don't know, it was a cloaked Banshee. His Raven was halfway out. He almost had his, well, he didn't almost have his scan. So he's going to lose some Marines, but look at how many Marines he has. He has 10 Marines there, which is enough to buffer the damage for the Banshee for a while. I mean, you'll take a lot of damage, and he's certainly behind, but he's by no means lost this game. And on top of it all, his expansion is up. He has 2 oh my god, I have no idea why he quit out of this game. He was behind, but he was by no means quit out of the game behind. His Raven would have come out, he could have gotten a Viking after that. The Raven would have let him not only spot the Banshee, but also lay down the little turret, auto turret, to help deal with the Banshee as well. And of course the Raven has energy, so if it gets to another 50 energy, it can lay down another turret to help the Banshee. And those can actually almost act like little mini missile turrets sometimes. But wow, I cannot believe that he just GG'd out of that game. Wow, that was like, I thought Idra was the only one who, well anyway. And, I mean, TSL Polt's expansion wasn't even up. So, I think that, I mean, it's possible. So, it looks like, based on what TSL Polt's doing, he's getting a reactor here and a factory. His factory's getting a tech lab. So, what he's going for is the Korean-style Cloaked Banshees, which is where you use Cloaked Banshees to deal economic damage to your opponent. Not economic damage, sorry, marine damage to your opponent. You know, kill as many Marines as possible, basically. And then that way, when you move in with your Siege Tank push, which is a one base all-in, like, that's what this strategy is it's Banshee into Siege Tank Marine. And that way, when you move in with that force, it becomes basically unstoppable. So, I mean, Thorzain probably would have lost to that push, but at the same time, I would always play that sort of thing out. I think that that's something that you should always try to play out, at least. And I guess maybe he was really frustrated or something from it and didn't want to try to have to bounce back from that. But, I mean, either way, he did quit out of the game, so we're going to have to move on to game number 2. This is PGO Minecraft signing off.